Hello there.
Hi.
How you doing today?
Excellent.
Pretty good.
Yourself?
Good. Well, this is the basic audio production class for Wednesday, August 19th. And I'm starting a couple minutes early just to give people a chance to click on the link and join the class. So welcome, everybody. Hello there.
Hello.
Let's see. You're William?
Yeah,
How are you today, William?
pretty good.
Good. What's your interest in audio?
Um, well, I'm sort of going through the filmmaking degree, and so audio is one of the things that I've done. Um, and for many years, um, I've collected music and had component stereo systems and that sort of thing.
Oh, nice. And are you an audiophile? Do you get records, vinyl records, or?
Yeah.
I don't anymore. I do
Oh,
have some vinyl. I do have some vinyl, but unfortunately, I don't have a turntable at this very moment.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know. I spent many years without a turntable, but yeah, I'm a big fan of vinyl. But I like all the formats. I like CDs and all that streaming and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, my thorns quit on me, and I haven't been able to find a replacement for it.
Oh
It
yeah,
was of that real grade
yeah,
of turntable.
yeah, yeah. I bought a cheapo like Audio Technica table, turntable for a little over $100, maybe 149 or something like that. It seems to work okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to the class. We're just
hey, Greg.
hi Dylan, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You have a nice summer?
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Despite all the chaos, it was good.
You'll be happy to know that I watched The Big Lebowski this week.
Oh, heck yeah.
I got to watch that at least once a year, you know what I mean?
Yeah, give it a good rotation.
I still marvel at how like absolutely perfect that movie is.
Yeah, it's like it, just the way the scenes and like the montages from here are so great.
Yeah. Have you ever had any desire to go to any of the conventions that they have for the
I'm really tempted.
yeah, I wouldn't want to seem like too much of a fanboy, but it would be fun to be around people who love the movie as much as I do, just to geek out on it, you know?
Yeah, like there's like booths and everything. There's like designers that go there and they make stuff and merch and t-shirts, posters. Like it's almost like Comic Con, but their own, Big Lebowski.
I know, and people, there's probably costume contests and stuff, and people quoting all the lines in the movie.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, I can quote, but they can quote for days.
I know. I mean, like, it never ends, right? Did you ever end up buying any T-shirts from that website?
No, not yet, but I'm gonna soon.
Yeah, I'm really all my Big Lebowski shirts. They're always my favorite shirts, but I always like wear them to death or lose them, and then I gotta go get some more. You know?
Yeah, I still have that one, and it's like fading and falling apart. I'm like, keep it together, guy, please. Might
Yeah,
have to frame it soon.
yeah. That's the best movie ever made. There's little
Oh
doubt.
yeah, that one and then No Country for Old Men are my two favorite Coen Brothers movies.
That is a great other movie to have as your favorite. And my
Yeah,
apologies to those of you who are tuning in expecting an audio class. This is basic audio production, but Dylan is one of my former students, and we're both big fans of the Big Lebowski movie. And now we're talking about No Country for Old Men, which is
mhm.
another fantastic film. Have you seen Shawshank Redemption?
I have, yes, so good.
That's my top film of all time. I just adore that movie.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Ooh.
It definitely is.
Best.
There's like five movies at the top of my list. I try to watch them every year. The only one that's really hard to watch is like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You know,
Yeah,
hard to
carve out some
find hard to find 6 hours to like
time.
thing, you know. But okay, well, it seems like people are popping in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up my little attendance sheet and start taking attendance here as you guys are jumping into the class. Okay, let's see. Employees teach.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay, so this is basic audio production. All right, so let's see who's here right now. Um, okay, here's a big list. All right, so I do not see Max yet. Brianna. Let's see. I know people are still just jumping in. I'm just trying to mark down whoever's here. Kenneth. Let's see, Kenneth. Uh, Vladimir. I don't see. One of the top people aren't there. Dondre. Dondre, I see. Okay, Dondre's here. Hi, Dondre.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
Good. Got some cool headphones there. Do you like the Beats headphones?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I was, a little skeptical because of, the price. I was like, oh, they're just another pair of headphones. But yeah, I like them. They're pretty good.
Are they super pricey? I didn't know.
No, these ones I actually got off Amazon. They were only about 180. So they do have some that go for like 360 and stuff like that, like a little bit higher. Because I know I wasn't paying that much for the headphones. So
Yeah, I know, especially when you think you can get the little, earbuds or whatever. But it makes a big difference to have this sort of cups that go over your ears, right?
right, yeah.
Yeah. I just picked up a pair of the AirPod Pros, and those are pretty fun. I mean, not for high fidelity, but they're great for like streaming music and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I think Max just jumped in. Yeah, so I'm gonna put him in my attendance. Okay, so let's see. I was down here. Uh, Trinity. Hello, Trinity. I'm putting you in my attendance for today. Let's see. Who else we got here? I'm looking for Brandon. Brandon. Don't see him. Gabriella. Gabby Costello. Okay. I'm gonna say that is Gabriella. Hi, Gabby. Are you there somewhere?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, you don't have I know Gastelum's probably a common name, but you don't have like a relative um named Gilbert that lives in California, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay. I used to work with a Gil Gastelum. Oh,
Oh, cool.
okay, so let's see. I'm doing my attendance right now. So let's see. Jillian. Looks like Jillian's here. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. If I murder your name, please let me know. I'll change my evil ways. Uh, Carl is here. Let's see. Looking for Cameron. Cameron's here. Luke. Let's see. Look. No Luke. Yet. Not yet. We got Venus. Which I'm looking for and not finding. Okay, we have a Christopher. Don't see Chris yet. Um, we've got a Michael Moriarty. Okay, I see you, sir. Hello, Michael. Uh, Dylan Powell. I see. That whenever I do roll like this, it reminds me of that. You know, I see my magic spyglass. What was that? What show was that? Does anybody remember? Um, as before some of your times. Let's see. Um, Abigail. Let's see. Yeah, we got Abigail is here.
There's somebody in the chat.
Oh, there's somebody in the chat. Let's see. I am here. Not sure if my name was called already. Oh yeah, Max, I got you. Um, so you're good. Let's see. William Wallace is here, and Emmanuel is here as well. Now let me go back up the list. So I didn't see Christopher earlier. I still don't see him. Venus, I don't think she jumped. I guess none of these people jumped in. Except for one person. Oh yeah, Vladimir, I saw is here. So now we've got Brianna and Kenneth. Any luck with those? Not yet. Okay. Oh, Kenneth is here. Okay. All right. Phew. All right. It looks like we got a couple more people who are going to join. Um, and when they do, I'll just go ahead and pop them in the attendance. But we'll go ahead and get started. So hello everybody. Welcome to Basic Audio Production. How you guys doing today?
Pretty
Doing
slow.
pretty good.
Doing good? Okay.
Bleh.
Yeah. Have any of you guys taken a class that has a virtual component before?
No, not like this.
That's in
Yeah, I mean, of course, you've had your online classes where you go through D2L and all that, but
Yeah.
nothing like this yet.
It's a whole new thing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, for all the like strangeness of it, it can work remarkably well. Especially if you do something like combine it with some in-person classes. So I think you guys will be surprised to see that this can work really well for everybody. Um, anyway, what I'd like to do, and I know you guys love to do this because you've loved to do this ever since third grade, but I'd like everybody to just maybe introduce themselves. And what I'll do is I'll just call your name from the list of who I know is currently present, and then you can turn your audio on and say hello. If you want to, you can turn your video on. I'd love to see you. It's entirely your choice. But let's start out with Max. You want to introduce yourself, Max?
Hi, my name is Max. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Um, Let me see. My name is Max. Hopefully this is my last semester at Pima, but I'm going for Associates of Applied Science in Digital Film and Animations, um, and hopefully going to do my bachelor's in communications. I'm not sure where yet, but hopefully it'll be online.
Oh, so you're actually interested in studying online.
Yeah, only because it's easier for me.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah.
that's cool. That's great. And do you have any idea what you want to do, like a job that you'd like to do?
Preferably editing.
Okay.
I've done some editing. Right now I work at Comcast and I'm a part of the media team. So we just do like short editing videos for just the call center.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Max. We appreciate you
Thank you.
first up. Okay. Next we have Kenneth. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. All right. My name's Ken Carper. You don't have to call me Kenneth unless you're presenting me with an Oscar. That's okay.
Well, I was planning on it, but I'll switch to calling you Ken.
All right. You probably should prompt me.
So just to give you guys an idea of things you can talk about, here's some subjects you can feel welcome to talk about, plus anything else you want. You can talk about what you're studying. You can talk about where you're from. You can talk about some hobbies. You can also talk about what you hope to get out of this class, and finally, what kind of career you're looking to get involved in.
Okay. Well, I'm studying digital film arts with the aim of becoming an independent filmmaker. What I'm hoping to get out of this class is that the audio on my videos will be less crap.
I think the people who take this class, the majority of them tend to be in the film field and or studying for film, and of course it's a required class, so I totally get that. Okay, thanks a lot, Ken. I appreciate you chiming in for that. How about Vladimir? Would you like to introduce yourself?
No.
Is that a serious no, or are you just joking?
Bit of both.
Oh,
All
okay.
right. Let's
Can
do this.
you want to tell us at least what you'd like to do?
Yeah, I also want to be an editor because it's the only part that I'm not terrible at.
Oh, okay. Yeah, editing is amazing. Don't you think that's a really powerful position in the film industry?
Oh, very. We make sure the film looks either pretty or terrible.
Yeah,
Make the film.
yeah, it's amazing how powerful editing is, and we take it for granted because things are so well edited these days. But it will make the film for sure. Okay, thank you, Vladimir. So, let's see, DeAndre, did you want to tell us about yourself a little bit?
Sure. My name's DeAndre, or D, whichever one you prefer. Um, Currently studying digital film and arts. I actually took your animation class a couple of semesters ago.
Right.
Um, yeah, so I currently only have 2 semesters left until I'm done. I'm currently looking for a job, either filming sports or going to kind of start on filming documentaries and stuff like that.
Now, documentaries. What's an example of a kind of documentary that you like or that you would like to make?
I've done one that had to deal with the mental health of soldiers, dealing with depression and stuff like that. Ken Burns is one of my favorite directors, who is famous for making a lot of the war documentaries. So that's definitely something I wanted to look forward into. Doing like a war history or just discussions, interviews, stuff like that.
Yeah, Ken Burns is the greatest. I love that guy. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you telling us a little bit about yourself. Okay, so next we have Trinity. Trinity, would you like to introduce yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I'm Trinity. I am studying the digital film arts degree,
Okay.
and I hope to do direction. That's probably they're interested in.
Okay, and what kind of career would you like to have? I mean, what kind of job would you like to work?
I would like to be a director.
A director?
Um, yeah, or maybe a writer, possibly.
What kind of films would you like to direct?
Not quite yet. I would like to do a sort of like art film at one point though.
Horror films, you said?
Avant-garde, but I do like horror films a lot.
Oh, cool. Well, that's cool. Have you made any films yourself already?
Not full ones. I've done a couple of shorts of
Oh,
it.
okay, cool. Maybe we'll get to see some examples of your work. Okay, well, thank you so much for introducing yourself. Um, okay, so let's see. I just want to check and make sure none of these other people came in. I don't see Brandon yet. So let's switch down here to Gabby. You would tell us about yourself?
Hi, I'm Gabby. I'm also in the film degree. What was the other question?
Well, like you can tell us where you're from, what you hope to get out of this class, what kind of job you'd like to do.
Oh, cool. Well, I haven't really taken an audio class, so it'd be cool to learn more about audio. Um, and then I was born and raised here in Tucson. And the career I want to take in is directing as well.
And what's an example of a film you wish you had directed?
Damn. Probably Gone Girl.
Gone Girl, that's such a good film.
It
Oh,
is a good film, yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's cool. Um, yeah, I think directing is a pretty awesome job. I always wanted to be a director too, but I also always wanted to be a lawyer, a writer. and 12 other things. So I don't know. I'm hoping that reincarnation is real so I can be all these things. Um, yeah. Okay, thanks, Gabby. All right, let's see who's next on our list here. We have Jillian. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and you want to tell us about yourself?
Sure. So I'm in the film degree. Um, the dream job would be maybe directing music videos.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. And um, maybe for this class, so I play 5 instruments, and maybe the audio will help me record myself and put it into my films. So
What
yeah.
what instruments do you play?
Violin is my main instrument, and then I play cello, piano, guitar, and ukulele.
Wow. Do you sing as well?
No, sadly.
But you can make awesome instrumentals, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Do you have you recorded any of your own do you write your own stuff?
No, it's just mainly like classical music that I play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very wow. Can't wait to hear some of your stuff. Um okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you telling us a little bit about yourself. Okay, let's go down next to let's see. Is Carl here? Carl, can you tell us about yourself? Oh, you're in the car.
Uh, it's okay. I can still talk. Can
Okay,
you hear me?
don't get in an accident.
No, no, don't worry about it. Well,
We're
I
in the
just came back. I just came back from a place that didn't have Wi-Fi. Anyways, my name's Carl Gillen. I'm a published author of many novels in English, German, and Italian. I just came back from Italy about a year and a half ago, and almost got stuck there again this year when the virus hit our families over there. I'm the recipient of the Medal of Honor for Human and Civil Rights for 2018 and honorary citizenship from the European Union for the work I did over there over the 3 years regarding the novels regarding civil and human rights. That being said, I wish I had directed something like Last of the Mohicans to the original and incorporated a little bit more of the actual docu instead of all fiction. It's a great film. I love it. I wish I could go back in there and re-edit it and relight it for just to improve the sound and stuff and the audio. That was beautiful, but with the technology of today's age. Other than that, I'm in my freaking car driving back because, like a dummy, I didn't check from the airport to the school that everything had changed because where I was did not have a Wi-Fi. So,
Cool. Wow,
and I
that's
hate. That's it.
really interesting bio. Hey, have you heard about those $1 houses that they're selling in Italy?
Yes, but it's sort of a trick because there's taxes behind that.
Oh,
So with the dollar, you may pay that, but the state, for example, Veneto, where we live, they'll sell you a house for $1, but then you'll get hit with a $30,000 value cost tax fee behind it. You have to be very careful. There's only a few places down south and in central, and I think in Torino as well. That's up north that actually do the $1, but to do that, you actually have to have a bunch of stuff. You can't just be an American and say, I want a house for $1. You have to have a permit, which takes 6 months, a marriage, or I think $300,000 in the bank account. It's called proof of residency that you can support yourself and that the Italian government won't have to because over there, health insurance and a lot of things are free. I loved it over there. I got married over there, and my wife's Italian, and I got free health insurance. So
wow.
so why am I here? Because my wife is now working at COVID Center in the ER at Banner University Medical Center. So it's a little stressful. I want to go back. She wants to make the big money here. So I guess I'm going to be a director since novels don't sell that great. Well, they don't sell bad, but you know.
What is free healthcare like, or free health insurance?
You go to the ER, you don't get hit with any bills unless you're bullshitting, in which case you pay $25. An ambulance comes to pick you up. Where's the $1,000 paycheck? There is none. It's free. It's part of the healthcare system. Your medications, for example, I'm on two probably $1,000 a month medications here in America. They cost $5 over there in Italy. That's the healthcare over there, and it's not bad. You just don't want to have surgery over there.
Huh.
I hope you guys got all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, let's see.
Okay.
Uh,
Now,
next we have Cameron. Cameron, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Um, Hi, I'm Cameron. I go by Cam.
Cameron.
I'm in the digital film program. Should be my second to last semester, and I'd like to be a screenwriter.
Oh, cool. Have you written anything, any screenplays yet or anything?
I'm still working on them. They're very much works in progress.
And
we love you, Cam.
is there any kind of genre that you like to focus on?
Not really. My tastes are pretty eclectic. If I were to pick one, it'd probably be sci-fi.
Oh, yay. I just watched this film on Netflix, Archive. Have you seen that?
I've not. It's on my list though.
Yeah, it's good. Check it out. Cool. All right. Thank you so much for sharing your information with us. And we'll go on to the next person that I have is Michael Moriarty. Michael?
I'm here.
Hi.
Hello, my name's Michael Moriarty. I'm in the digital film arts and animation program. This should be my third semester for this, or while I'm here. So I'm starting year 2. Hopefully, I'll transfer to the U of A. And probably the dream job would be to direct my own film or short films.
And do you have, you gonna write your own film or?
Yes.
And do you have some idea what that would be about?
I have a few ideas, but nothing like concrete. Nothing that I've truly worked on yet. But it'd probably be, yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. And just a quick question. What do you think? Do you think you might, like, once you get all the ideas for your film, do you think you might do something like a Kickstarter project to try and raise funds for your film?
Possibly, yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Be a possibility.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Michael. Let's see. Next, we'll go down to Dylan.
Hi, my name is Dylan Powell. I'm actually the web design, graphic designer person of this whole film group, but I took this class or signed up for this class because I want to be a multimedia graphic designer, and I really enjoy making lots of, like, I'm more of a creator, I think, than just doing one facet. Like, I'd like to do music videos, I'd like to do documentaries, like I'd almost too many things, but I'd like to narrow it down. But I took this class because I like video editing a lot, and I suffered with my audio sometimes, and I wouldn't know what to do with it sometimes. And I feel like taking this class will definitely improve that, but also help me to manipulate the audio more as well.
Cool. And so your dream job would be a multimedia designer?
Yeah.
And do you want to work for a big company or just for yourself?
I'd like to work for a big company for a bit and then eventually go off on my own.
Cool. That's a good plan. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much, Dylan. I appreciate you telling us a little bit about yourself. And let's go down here to Abigail. Abigail?
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Abigail, or you can call me Abby, and I'm in the digital film arts degree thingy. I really aspire to be an editor, specifically for like music videos, but anything else is good too.
Cool. And can you name some current music videos that you like?
I really like Hannah G. Lux's work on Thank You Next for Ariana Grande. It just looks so beautiful. I love all the colors. It's so vibrant. It's just beautiful to me.
I haven't, I'm ashamed to say I haven't seen that one, so I'll look it up on YouTube. What's that big one by Cardi B and her collaborator, that Kylie Jenner's in. What's that one called again?
This is a family show.
WAP.
Yeah, WAP. That's right.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Do you like the WAP video?
I haven't seen it actually. I haven't. No.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So music videos would be the dream job.
Yes, I love making music videos. It just looks. It's so fun to do. I love music. I love videos. I love putting them together, kind of thing.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Abby. Let's go down here to William. William Wallace. Would you like to introduce yourself? Oh, there you are. William.
Yes. Hi. Well, I am in the film program, and years ago, I wanted to really do wildlife, make wildlife films, but in I was born in Edmonton, Alberta, and spent a lot of time in the kind of outdoors. So I went and enjoyed those types of films. So, but I became a chemist, and I ended up helping develop contact lens materials. Then I worked for the Maine Department of Environmental Protection as a field agent, doing hazmat and oil spill cleanups. And then I ended up owning a company that distributed materials to make handmade cosmetics. So now I'm finally going to get back to looking at a film career. And I enjoy writing scripts, and I still shoot the like shooting the wildlife types of things. But I certainly like to be able to do a variety of things, more on an independent basis.
Okay, so you like to make your own films?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Sounds like you've had a interesting life, interesting biography.
Yeah, I think the science fiction is sort of the kind of thing that science fiction / horror are the things that I write best.
Cool. All right. Do you go by William or Bill?
Either one works.
Okay. All right. Thank you, William. And let's see. So, Emmanuel, would you like to introduce yourself? Emmanuel. Oh, so you guys, Emmanuel's introducing himself in the chat over here. He's listening to, let's see, it says, hi, my name is Manuel, or Iman for short. Currently, I'm at work, so I'm using my AirPods, listening to the class. I told my supervisor this was my last week of full-time work, so that's why I'm at class and work. Just being discreet, making sure they don't see I'm in class. That's why my camera and audio is off, but I promise I'm listening in. That's great. Okay. Thanks, Iman. So I am making little notes about what you guys want to be called. Because I know it sucks like to be called your full name if you just go by something shorter. So if any of you have a suggestion for me of how you'd like to be called, please let me know. Okay, so let's see. I think we've gone through our list, except for 3, 4, 5 people who I don't know if they ever showed up yet. So let me just check. So I don't see Brianna. I don't see Brandon. I don't think. Yeah, nobody else joined. So I guess the answer is no. Has everybody had a chance to introduce themselves? Is there anybody I'm missing? Oh, here's one person coming in on an iPhone, and I don't know who that is. So I'm gonna just put a call out there. So I'm going to read out 5 names, and if you're one of these people, please chime in and say hello. Brianna Burris.
Hi.
Oh, you're
Can you
here?
hear me? Yes, I am. Sorry, I just got in.
Did you just pop in?
Or I was in, but it disconnected me for some reason. Sorry.
Okay. Would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're taking the class.
Yeah, so I'm Brianna. I'm in the digital film and arts program. And I'm taking this class to improve my audio. I've learned a little bit here and there, mostly from Loomis. So I'd like to get more information on that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's see. Brandon, are you here at all? Brandon? Nope. Okay. I got 3 more names to read. Luke, are you here? Venus and Christopher. Any of you guys here? Okay. So if they pop in, we'll give them a chance to introduce themselves. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. I know it's kind of hard. Nobody really likes talking about themselves, especially to a group of strangers, but I appreciate it. It helps me get to know you a little better, and it helps us connect a little bit more about what we all want to learn going forward. I'll give you like the very short summary of me. I'm a nearly native Tucsonan. We moved here when I was 4, so I've been here a really long time. So Tucson's home. I went to school here. I went to Pima College. I had a great time. I really enjoyed Pima, and I went to the U of A and got a fine arts degree. Um, After that, I started my own business, a multimedia business, and I ended up doing a variety of things, everything from web design to game design to comic books. And I eventually got into teaching through my business, and that teaching eventually led me back to Pima to teach at school. So currently, I'm a full-time faculty in the digital arts department at Pima, and I also continue to run my multimedia business. Okay, so let's get started on the actual class itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Now, when that happens, your screen is going to be kind of taken over by mine. And in order to sort of minimize that, I think you can just hit the escape key on your keyboard, and that will take it from like full screen view down to more manageable. And then you can take that screen and bring it down to whatever size you want to, so you can look at that and whatever else you're doing. So let's see. Let me go ahead and first pull up the class website on my, here we go, on my computer. And now I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so you guys can see that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I know that many of you are used to using D2L, Pima's online system for classes, to take classes, and all the information would be posted in D2L and everything like that. I'm probably one of the few exceptions to that rule. I don't use D2L to put in anything else other than grades. So when you guys are looking for your grades, you're going to go to D2L and check them out. But for everything else, absolutely everything else, I use this website here. And the reason is because I'm a website designer, and it's easier for me to build a website than it is to use somebody else's. So this is the website right here. It's located at pima.dreamco.com. Dreamco is the name of my personal business, and so I built a website on that server to serve up all my class information. So basically what's going to happen every week, I'm going to make a post, because this website is a blog, right? I'm going to make a post about what we're doing in class. It's going to have all the pertinent links, you know, to things you need to download or things you need to read. And you can go here every week, and you'll have all the information you need. In addition, the class sessions that are virtual like this are being recorded via Zoom, and I'll go ahead and post those videos on here. So if you had to leave class early, or maybe you got lucky and went to California or something like that, you can pop back in and watch the class. There's also going to be this link every week, join class via Zoom. It's always going to be the same link to join the class. So, if you want to copy and paste that somewhere, you can, or you can just go to the class website. That's what I do, actually. I just go to the class website and click on that link, and then I'm in the class, right? Okay, we haven't talked about very much, but does anybody have any questions so far? Okay, feel free to let me know if you do. And of course, if you're not that into like, interrupting somebody when they're speaking, but you do have a question, you can type it into the chat right here, and I'll notice it eventually and give you an answer. Okay, so probably one of the questions that's on everybody's mind because of this strange time that we're in right now is, how is this class going to work? Is it a virtual class? Is it an in-person class? Well, the answer is it's a hybrid class, which means it's basically 50% of both. And so the way that Pima has set this up is that the class is going to be completely virtual 1 week, right? Which means since the class meets twice a week on Monday and Wednesdays, that means Monday and Wednesday at 9:45, you'll click this link and we'll have a virtual class like this. And then the following week, the class is going to be in person at Pima. However, the class is going to be split in half, with half of you coming on Monday and half of you coming on Wednesday. So the reason that's happening is as a precaution to protect people from the virus. So for example, let's say there's 22 people in this class, right? Well, if we try to put 22 people in a classroom, we couldn't do effective social distancing and keep you guys safe from the virus. However, if we put 11 people in a classroom, basically half of you, we can spread you out and increase the safety factor. So that's the way that they decided to do the classes this semester in the arts division. So let's take, I'm gonna take Bill Wallace here for an example, just because he's right up there, and Dylan is right under him. So I'm gonna use these two guys as an example, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a list, and I'm gonna talk to you guys right now about this list. And half of you guys are gonna be on the Monday list, and the other half of you will be on the Wednesday list. So let's say I put Bill on the Monday list, and I put Dylan on the Wednesday list. What that means is, the first week of school is going to be totally virtual. We'll meet online Monday and Wednesday. But the second week, Bill will come into Pima on Monday at 9:45 and be there for the couple hours during class, right? Then on Wednesday, Dylan will come in at 9:45 and be there for a couple hours of the class, right? Now, both of those guys, on the week where people are coming in physically, if they're not coming in physically, then they'll go into the website and they'll click this link and they'll come and they'll join the class virtually, right? So in other words, there's going to be a virtual version of the class every single time, but every other week we'll also be meeting in person. Okay, now I know that's a lot of information and it's kind of confusing and everything. Does anybody have any questions about that or need me to further explain it?
So for every other week, is it going to be that way for the entire semester? Is it going to be like 1 week we're going to be all virtual, then the next week we're going to start the hybrid and then go back to virtual?
Well, that's actually an excellent question. I'm glad you asked it. So the first week and a half of school for everybody at Pima is going to be completely virtual. That means this week and all of next week, we're just going to meet virtually. Now, the reason for that is so that everybody can figure out what all is happening, and then the schedule is going to start. So after that, week and a half of meeting virtually, we would start that schedule of meeting virtually every other week and meeting in person every other week, right? And so what that would mean is D, if you ended up being on the Wednesday list, every other week you'd come in on a Wednesday and you'd be there for 2 hours. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to sort of answer an unasked question here, or actually you kind of mentioned it, which is why I'm addressing it. You said, is this going to be the case for the whole semester, or is it going to change back to virtual or something? I do have to be honest and tell you guys there is a possibility that this class, which is currently scheduled as a hybrid, meets in person every other week, there is the possibility that it could become totally virtual. Now, what is it that would trigger that? Well, if you've been reading the papers, or the news, I should say, you'll notice that a couple of colleges like University North Carolina and Notre Dame, uh, they just opened their schools, and there's so many students with the virus that they just shut them back down and turned everything virtual, right? So there is the possibility that, all the students come back to Pima and they find a high incidence of COVID, and they're going to say, well, we're just going to be virtual, right? That's a possibility. Another possibility is that with the cold and flu season coming later this year, that that increases the incidence of the virus at the school, and that they shut it down and it becomes virtual, right? So, it's not a very nice proposition to think, oh, we have this schedule, we're meeting every other week, but it could change at a moment's notice. But really, that's true, unfortunately, and that's kind of the reality that we're all in right now. So, I need you guys to be aware of that the class is currently 50% virtual and 50% in person, but that it could go all virtual at some point, and if that does happen, we'll definitely let you know. Okay, any other questions from you guys?
I have a question actually, because one of my other teachers made his class all virtual.
Uh,
All classes were going to be like that, but then I got the email from you saying it'd be hybrid. So I'm a little relieved that it's hybrid. So,
okay.
I'm a little happy to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I taught a virtual class over the summer, and it went really well. And so, I was ready. I'm ready. If it's all virtual, I can deal with it. But like some of you guys, I like in-person classes as well. So I'm kind of glad that at least half of them are in person, because it gets me out of this room and into the real world with real people,
Yeah, I agree. I need that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, I don't know about you guys, but the whole cabin fever thing has been happening over the last 5 months with the whole quarantine. Has that happened to any of you guys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm kind of looking forward to getting out and interacting with people.
Oh, now I want to watch that movie, Cabin Fever. Eli Roth.
I haven't watched that. Is it good?
Oh, it's pretty good.
I'll check it out. Okay. Any other questions before we move on?
For the Monday, Wednesday classes, are they going to be the exact same class, or are the people that come on Mondays, are they expected to join via Zoom on Wednesdays as well?
Yeah. So basically, let me put it to you this way. Every student has the responsibility to attend every single class. So, over a 2-week period, 3 of your classes are going to be virtual and one's going to be in person. So when I'm teaching the physical in-person classes, we're going to be sitting in a classroom. I'm going to be sitting in front of a computer, and I'm going to have Zoom on, right? And I'm going to be teaching the class just like this, except I'll be in a classroom, right? And you guys can ask questions. Those of you that are here physically can ask questions, or those of you that are online can ask questions. And I'll do demos and I'll do all that stuff. And then, at a certain point, I'll give you guys time to work. And then I can walk around the room and help people have questions, but I can also help people online to have questions. So, one way you could think of it is it basically is all a virtual class, but, once every 2 weeks, you're going to come in and be physically there, which is good because, like Dylan and I were talking about, it's nice to be able to see people and talk to people and ask questions. And, I think that's a more effective way of communicating sometimes. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right. So if anybody else has a question, feel free to ask it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring up the schedule form, which is going to allow us to put your name on either a Monday or a Wednesday for the day that you're going to come in during those weeks when we're physically coming in. So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to start by just putting the first half of the class on Monday and the second half on Wednesday. And then as I'm typing these names, if you think to yourself, hey, I'd rather come in on Wednesdays for whatever reason, let me know and I can switch you to a Wednesday person instead of a Monday person. Okay. So I'm going to bring up that list. Let's see. Let me put this up here. Go here. Okay, here's the list. So I'll fill out the rest later, but this is like DAR275 basic audio production. Okay, so then down here, you can see this little calendar here. Actually, let me visual aids are always helpful. So let me bring this up. Um, so you can see today's the 19th, right, in orange here. And the first week and a half of school is going to be completely virtual for everyone. Anything that's in red here is a holiday. So like we got Labor Day on this Monday here. I don't know. I'm terrible about this. I can't remember what holidays in November. Is it Veterans Day in November? I don't know. Help me out here.
Yeah, I think so.
Veterans Day on the 11th. This, of course, is Thanksgiving, and then that's Christmas break, right? So the colleges close on those days. Now, actually, I'm glad I brought this calendar up because there's something I forgot, which is Pima is also going to be closed, or I'm sorry, not closed. Pima is also going to be virtual the very last week of school. If you look down here in December, this sort of last week is orange. So in other words, when we're having like finals, that will be virtual as well. Okay, now, other than that, other than the red, which are the holidays, and the orange, which are the virtual days, you see yellow weeks and green weeks. And basically, yellow and green just mean, one is even numbered weeks, which is like, I guess, the green weeks, and the yellow weeks are the odd number weeks. And so what happens is we're just going to put you guys in groups here. So like, it looks like the first week that we'll actually be meeting in person is the week of August 31st, and that's a yellow week. So, what I'll do is I'll put in like yellow, and I'll put the people who are meeting, let's see, on Monday, let's see. Yeah, that's right. Yellow is going to be the first week. Let's see. Every week meet in person, odd week classes meet virtually. Odd week meet in person. Okay, I'm trying to figure this thing out. Okay, so they actually didn't do this correctly. They should have given us four different boxes. We should have a box for yellow Monday, yellow Wednesday, and a box for green Monday and green Wednesday. So they didn't do that for us. So that kind of sucks. Oh wait, let me see. Group 1 on campus meetings. Yeah, they didn't help me out here. So I'm gonna have to just kind of wing it. Okay, but anyway, so this day here, Monday the 31st, half the let's see, half the class is gonna meet. Let's see, every even week classes meet in person, odd week classes meet virtually. Odd classes meet in person. Okay, fine. We'll just figure this out. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll bring up my list of you guys right now, which is going to be this list. All right. And sorry, the screen's getting pretty insane here, but we'll work this out. Okay, so what I'm going to do is on this first week, so Max is the first person up here, so I'm going to put Max down as a student meeting on yellow on Monday. And then I'm going to put Brianna down to meet on Monday. Let's see how many students we have here listed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That goes down to Gabby. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That goes down to Chris. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay. So there's going to be 10 people in one and 9 in the other. So, all right, let me just go ahead and put all you guys here on this Monday list. So we have Brianna, we've got Ken.
Can I be on the Wednesday list?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Carl too.
Who was the other person?
Carl just said Carl too.
Oh, okay.
And then I didn't know who that was that said it first.
Okay, so it was Carl and Ken.
Yes.
There you go.
Carl and Ken want to be on the yellow list. Okay.
Wait.
Max, please, for Wednesday.
On Wednesday. Okay, I'll just open it up for you guys. Any of you other guys know which class day you'd rather be on?
Can you put Cameron on Wednesday, please?
Yes, we want Cam. We love you, Cam.
Okay. Can you
It's like
put
a drop
William
down.
on Monday?
Bill, you want to be Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, Vladimir, you have a preference?
Not really.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on Monday. Okay, D, do you have a preference?
I take the Wednesday.
Okay. Trinity?
Monday's fine.
Okay, let's see. Brandon's not here. Gabby?
I'll take Monday.
Jillian?
Monday, please.
Okay, we got Carl already. We got Cameron. Luke's not here. Those people aren't here. Michael? You have
Uh,
guy.
I'm fine with Monday.
Okay, Dylan, can you do Wednesday?
Yeah, I can do Wednesday.
Okay, I want to try and get these kind of even. Abby, can you do Wednesday?
I think Emmanuel said something in the chat.
Can I do Monday? Oh, great. Thanks. Okay, got you on Monday. Abby, can you do Wednesday?
I'd prefer Monday, but if not, it's okay.
Let me put you over here on Monday and see how we're doing.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hmm. Let's see. 9 and 6, 15. All right. Well, I tell you what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to go ahead and leave this as the temporary list, and I'll remember we're going to meet virtually all next week, so we'll come back to this. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4 people who haven't checked in for the class yet, so I don't know which day they're going to want to meet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as the temporary Monday, Wednesday list, but there may be some changes, like if these people never end up showing up for the class, I might have to bump a couple of you Monday people over to Wednesday. So let me go ahead and save it just so we have an even amount of people each day. Okay, so I'm going to save this on my desktop. Okay, we're going to call this DAR275. Okay. All right, good. Okay, so yeah, we'll revisit that a little bit. You know, like I said, next week. Okay, let me go back to down here. Okay, and go up to basic audio production. Okay. Okay, you guys. Now we have been talking. We've been in class for almost an hour now, and I know it can get kind of exhausting to stare at a computer. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you guys all a 5-minute break. So feel free to get up, stretch your legs, use the restroom, get a drink, whatever you need to do. When we come back, we'll start talking about this class itself based on all the information that's on the website. Okay, go ahead and take a break. And if during the break you have a question you want to ask me, please feel free.
Professor, how do you like to be addressed, by the way?
Oh, that's a good question. You can address me any way that you feel comfortable. I'm comfortable with Greg. Some
Okay.
like to call me Professor Lameau or Professor, but whatever you feel comfortable with is fine with me.
Well, I figure I'm 55, so I can call you Greg. Is that okay?
Well, I'm 56, so no,
You got me.
you have to call me Professor.
So what I want to ask you is what are we missing out by this coronavirus and us not being able to take these courses? I mean, Loomis does pretty good showing the stuff on the video and stuff, and I know a lot over my years, but what are we missing out by you not being able to see us each day of the semester?
Well, my feeling is, you know, a format like this, a virtual format, can effectively communicate the information you want to learn. I mean, it can. You know, I can talk about what you need to learn. I can point it to videos that you can watch and things you can read. But there's something about in-person communication that I think is superior. You know, when you're standing right next to somebody and you're making movements and you're making eye contact, there's something about that format that I think is more effective.
Yeah.
But you're going to get the information, this in this format.
We'll just have to envelop it within our brains in a different way, or try to,
Yeah, and
I guess.
unfortunately, we don't know exactly how long COVID is going to be a huge problem in our society, but it's definitely going to change everything from here on out. So, in other words, types of interaction like this virtual type of interaction will probably become a lot more common. So it's kind of something that we could benefit from becoming acclimated to.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question.
Is it okay if my dog here takes the course with us? Chica,
Well,
who is it?
it depends.
Is that the professor?
What's Yes, we love animals.
Oh, Lord.
I'm more of a cat guy.
Well, she's got the hair. If you look at her, she's got the hair. Chica, cheek, cheek. It's a little Pomeranian if you can't see. I'm not sure how this video thing works.
Greg, I think you're on mute if you're talking.
I wasn't actually talking though. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just going to sort of slowly squeegee my way back into class here. I know some of you guys will take a little bit longer of a break. You're walking around the room or getting water or whatever. So we'll come back kind of slowly. So the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to show you guys, Iman asked how we were going to turn in assignments. And I wanted to show you how we're going to do that. And the way we're going to do that is by having everybody make a Google Drive folder and share that folder with me. Now I'll go ahead and go through the process with you on the computer here, and you guys can just follow along. Unless you already know how to do this, you've done it in your other classes, then you can just make a folder and share it with me. But let me show you how it's going to work. So what you're going to need to do is go to the PIMA website, so pima.edu, and then you're going to go ahead and log into your MyPima account. Okay, now once you're in your MyPima account, I always go here a certain way. I think you guys might just be able to click on. Well, I'm going to show you the way I go there. Your setup is a little different from mine, but I just go to my Gmail, and then I click on this little thing. It's called a waffle here. This little thing that has the 9 dots. You click on that, and then you go to this thing called Drive. Now, you guys might be able to get there specifically. You probably have a link that says like Docs or something like that. You might be able to get right to Drive from clicking on that Docs link. But then you click on Drive, and that's going to take you into your Google Drive, which of course is just cloud storage. Now in there, you're going to make a folder. And the way you do that is you go up to the top left corner and you click on the button that says New. And then after you click on that, you click on the word folder. Now it's going to bring up a dialog box where you can make a folder. Go ahead and type in dar275 and then type your name. And if anybody has any questions or problems during this process, just let me know. Okay, once you've created the folder, go ahead and hit create. Now what it's going to do, it's going to make the folder and then it's going to highlight it in your list. Now what you need to do is after it highlights it in your list, you need to right click on it and you need to click on this button which says share. Now, you're going to share this folder with me because that's how you can turn in your assignments. You'll just upload them to your Google Drive folder and then I'll have access to it. So what you want to do here is you want to put in my email address, which is listed right here on the screen. But if you just type G and then the letter J as in Joseph, and then Loumeau, which is my last name, Lumeau, at pima.edu, that's my email address. So GJLOUMEAU at pima.edu. Okay, and once you've typed that, then you just hit the done button. All right. I guess I'll share mine because who cares? But anyway, okay, and so then two things will happen. You'll have a folder now in your Google Drive, your Pima Google Drive, that you can drop assignments in, and I'll be able to access it. And also, I'm going to get an email from your account that says, hey, you've got a new account that's shared with you. So that's the process for sharing the drive, and that's how we're going to turn in work. Any questions about that? Okay, so let me go back to the class website here. So we are required to talk about the syllabus, and what I like to do is I like to call it like a drive-by of the syllabus because I like to go really fast because the syllabus is boring and it's the same syllabus every single class. So, oh my God, I'm going to go as fast as I can talking about the syllabus, and then if you have questions, let me know. But the place to find the syllabus is on the website. There's a little link up here at the top called Syllabi. And if you click on that, all the syllabi for this semester right here, it's always going to be there 24/7, right? So then you find this class, Basic Audio Production. You click on it. On my computer, which is a Macintosh, it's going to download the PDF to my computer, and I have to go over here to Downloads and open it up, right? I'm not sure what's going to happen on some other formats. Some other computers or some other browsers might just open it in your window, which is fine either way. But this is the syllabus, and like I said, about 95% of this is the same for every single class. So I'm not even going to bother going over to the stuff that's the same in other classes. All I'm going to do is point out what's different. What's different is that this is dar275, the basic audio class. And it meets on Monday and Wednesday, 9:45 to 12:25 a.m. or 9:45 a.m. to 12:25 p.m. When we do meet on campus, which is going to be every other week, starting the 31st of August, we're going to be meeting in CG26, which is a room some of you may be familiar with because there's a lot of film classes that get taught in there. And where that is if you walk in the glass doors of the Santa Catalina building, that main building at Pima, you turn left, and then right before you get to the cafeteria, if you look on your right, there's a hallway with a row of lockers. You go down there, and that's CG26. So we talked about the fact that this is hybrid, which means half online, half in person. There's a course description here, which I'm not going to bother reading to you. Basically, we're teaching you audio. And actually, the focus of this audio class is going to be audio for film because so many of you are film students. But I'll answer questions about audio for other purposes as well, say music or music videos or anything else you want to use audio for. There is, let's see, the class website, which is right here, pima.dreamco.com. You guys obviously all have at least the minimum of what you need here, which is internet access and being able to click on a Zoom link and come into class. You'll also want to have something like a flash drive or a portable hard drive so that you can grab your files and bring them into school when you come in and take them with you when you leave. Now here's the good news. There's no required book for the class. That's super good news because the book, whoa! I know, isn't that great? The book is incredibly expensive, as all textbooks are. I think the book is like $70 or something obnoxiously icky, right? And it's not required for the class, but this is the book. It's called Modern Recording Techniques. Now, The only reason I would recommend you would get this book is if you are a hardcore audio enthusiast. If you want to have a reference book on your shelf that talks about all the basics of sound design, this is a good book. It's a really good book, right? It goes in and it very thoroughly explains the physics behind sound. It gives you examples of, kinds of microphones you could use to record different instruments, like violin, for example. And it talks about how sound reverberates around a room and, all kinds of great stuff. So it's a great book. And I'm glad I spent the $70 and have it on my bookshelf because I use it as reference sometimes. But you guys don't need it. It's not required. Like I said, if you are into this hardcore stuff and you've got an extra $70 lying around, go buy this book. Okay, one other thing that I want to show you. Now, this is something you don't have to pay for. We're actually just going to check this out to you guys. Let's see. Ta-da! Woo! It's three-dimensional, right? This is a mini core keyboard. And when I say mini, I mean mini, right? It's got very small keys. You can just fit your hands on them and play chords and notes and stuff like that. Now, what's going to happen is the first week you guys come into class, the week of August 31st, I'm actually going to check out one of these little keyboards to everybody, right? And you're going to be able to take it home and use it. And of course, you'll have to bring it back into class when you come, right? Now, if some of you have keyboards at home that are plugged into your computer, you don't have to check out this one if you don't want. But this is going to be available to you. Now, what this is it's a little, I believe it's a 3-octave keyboard, and it comes with a little USB plug-in. And this will plug into either Mac or PC, and then you'll be able to use this thing to make little notes. Now, I don't want you guys to freak out because you're like, wait, this is a basic audio class. We don't have to learn how to play keyboard, do we? No, you don't. But this is going to be a great teaching tool for you because what I'm going to do, I'm going to teach you about audio, and part of audio is music. And I'm going to teach you, we're doing an example like, well, how would you record a piano? Well, or a keyboard. Here you go, record a keyboard, right? Or if we want to do example, how would you do a multi-track recording, right? Which is multiple tracks. You can take your software that you're using and you can turn it so that it's making drum sounds on the keyboard, and then you can record drums, and then you go to another track and you can record a guitar sound and bass and all that kind of stuff. And so this keyboard is going to be very valuable in helping you learn about audio. Plus, it's fun. It's a cool, keyboard, right? So I think hopefully you guys will dig that. Okay. Any questions so far about any of this good stuff? All right. So everything else on this syllabus is kind of generic student learning outcomes. You're gonna be learning how to do audio, especially for film. Grade and instructor policies. This is worth talking about. So the way that I'm grading the class is 10% class participation. So that means if you show up for all the classes, boom, you get an A for participation, right? Talk, answer questions, ask questions. 80% class assignments, and 10% is for something called a presentation. Now, I will get to that in just a moment. Let me go ahead and finish off this syllabus, and then we'll talk about presentations. Everything else here is absolutely generic. Information about, withdrawing from the class, getting an incomplete, late work policies, blah, 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 blah. It's all important, but it's also very generic. So please take a look at this stuff, read through it. If there's anything you have any questions about, feel free to ask me. There's links in here to things like access and disability resources, student resources, calendars, all kinds of information you might be interested in. So please read through that at your leisure if you like, and let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so that was the drive-by of the syllabus. I tried to get it in as quickly as possible. I hope it wasn't like going to the dentist. Any questions about the syllabus right now? Okay, good. So we're done with that. That's the worst part of every class, talking about the syllabus. Now let me go ahead and talk about the presentation, which is the 10% of your grade, right? We're required by law to do something every week that all the students participate in. And we have a choice of what it can be. We can give you guys a test every week. Ooh, I hate that, test. That's a 4-letter word, test, right? Or we can do something creative, like have everybody in the class do one single presentation, right? And then everybody else in the class listen to the presentation and, ask questions or just absorb the information or whatever. So I went that route instead of the test route. So what that means is everybody in the class is going to be required to give one presentation at one point during the semester. The presentation only has to be 5 minutes long, right? And it has to be about something that somehow connects to this class. So it can be about music, it can be about audio, it can be about how audio is used in video, it could be about scoring for music, films, it could be about a million different topics that somehow connect to audio and film and video and all this stuff. So it's a really wide range, and you guys get to pick what topic you want to talk about, right? Now let me show you on the class website. I'm going to go back to that. If you look up here at the top, there's a link called Presentations. And we can click on that. And there's a little FAQ here, how to do your presentation. Now the example I use is for an animation class, but we can easily translate that over to your class. So that downloads a PDF. So I'm going to open it up, and I'll make it a little bigger too. So it says how to do your class presentation. So how long should it be? It can be 5 minutes long. It can be 10 minutes long. Not long. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy, right? How should I make it? Well, the absolute best way in my mind to make it is to use an online slide program like Google Slides or PowerPoint, right? With Google Slides, you can actually make it right in your folder, right? Your Pima folder, or I should say your My Pima account, which has all the Google apps in it. You just made a folder in there, but that account also has a Google Slides program in it. And you can just start that program and make a slideshow and save it right in that folder you shared with me. And then when it comes time to give your presentation, you just share your screen and then double click on that and then just talk about the slides and just click them one after another, right? Now that's the easiest way to do it. But you guys could do something different if you want. If you wanted to show pictures or videos from YouTube or something, you can do whatever you want. It's your presentation, right? What should it be about? And once again, I'm giving examples of animation here, but you can switch out the word audio for this. So it could be about new audio recording technology, history of audio, the audio for a specific movie or music video, how it was done, audio techniques, famous audio engineers, etc. Right? Okay, when is your presentation due? Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all your names and I'm going to put them on a list so that you guys give your presentations, throughout the semester, the 4-month semester, right? And since we're meeting in class, it might be fun if you gave your presentations actually in class. You can sit at the computer and give it to the class. It's nice to have an audience. But if you prefer, you can also do it virtually on the weeks we're not meeting. How you turn it in? Well, like I said, you put it in your Google Drive folder. Can you use notes during your presentation? Of course, I've seen people, put notes on their cell phone and just read them as they're doing their presentation, or bring up a separate file that has notes on it, or even just type all the notes right on the slides, and then all the information is right there. Am I presenting this material to the class? Yes, you're presenting it, via Google Slides or whatever, right? And once you see, everybody's a little nervous. What should I do? How is it supposed to work? Once you see the first one, it's easy. It's really straightforward. My advice to you is to find something you're very interested in, something you're kind of passionate about, in regards to film and how it overlaps with audio, and then talk about that. Like I've had students come in and talk about their favorite composer, Ennio Morricone or something like that, and show examples of films that he composed the scores for. And I've had people come in and talk about how music is a tool for manipulating your emotions. And they'll show examples of a film without the sound, and then they'll add the sound in a movie like The Godfather and show you how film is actually, basically grabbing you by the emotions and shaking you, So really, whatever you want to do it on, and if you have any questions at all, you can write to me or ask me, hey, I want to do it on this topic, is that okay? And I'm fine with that. Okay. Once again, any questions about the syllabus? Are you guys good with that? Okay, close that down. Let me go back. And by the way, right here on this page right here where it says presentations, I'm going to put a new link up here that says Fall 2020, and I'm going to make a list. And here, I'll just show you what the list looks like. So here's the list for my summer school. I just basically put everybody's name down and then put a date next to it, and that's the day you give your presentation. And if you want to trade with somebody or you're sick and you want to flip it to another day or something, we can do that. Okay, so let's see. Over here on the left, by the way, when you come to the website, you know, every week I'm going to make multiple posts for all my classes. So if you go to the very first page of the website, it might not be that the basic audio production is at the top. It might be something like After Effects that's at the top. But if you go over here on the left and you click on the name of your class, it will bring up all of the posts for that class. Okay, so I just clicked on it. My internet's kind of pokey right now. All right. Okay, so actually we're moving moving very quickly here. We got through these first 7 bullet points, or 8 actually. So now we get to the fun part. We're going to actually watch a video about the history of audio. When I start classes out, I like to give a little bit of history about the subject matter because I think it's interesting and it brings us up to the current date and time with the subject. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a bit of this YouTube video up to about close to six minutes, and then I'll stop it and we can talk a little bit. Okay, so let me go ahead and click on this. And let's see, how can I get this? Let's see, I'll get it big and then let's see. I don't want it to take up the whole screen. Okay, hold on.
Ever since we've been able to communicate using speech, we've been able to hear our own voice reproduced in the natural world through echoes, sound waves that travel to and bounce back from hard reflective surfaces like these rock faces. But being able to capture and store these waves is a surprisingly recent invention. Thomas Edison started it all with his invention of the phonograph in 1877.
Mary had a little lamb, its fleet was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go.
If we could travel back in time, imagine how difficult it would be to explain to somebody from the late 19th century what sound recording was. We could have said it's like the sound equivalent of how the camera, invented just a couple of decades earlier, can store an image. Or we could have said it's a bit like a mechanical parrot that will squawk back exactly what we say to it at the touch of a button.
Mary had a little lamb, its fleet was white as snow.
When Thomas Edison first publicly displayed his phonograph, it was to huge acclaim, and it instantly made him world famous. Interestingly, Edison hadn't foreseen that one of the principal applications of his invention would be for the reproduction of music. If only Thomas Edison could have seen what his creation actually developed into. Here at the Grammy Museum in Los Angeles, they've assembled exhibits and artifacts that trace the history of recording all the way from the tinfoil cylinder right through to the iPod. The rotating cylinder on the phonograph developed into the flat disc on Emil Berliner's gramophone that was patented in 1887. In 1900, Valdemar Poulsen of Denmark patented the first magnetic recorder, called the telegraphone, using steel wire. But it was a long time, some 4 decades, before the basic principle was adapted into machines using magnetic tape. Soon after the turn of the 19th century, flat discs had largely superseded Edison's rather short-lived cylinder technology. Mass production techniques for cellulose and shellac records made the hand-wound gramophone a common household object. The development of electrical recording spawned the concept of the sound recording studio, and recorded music, as an art form, burst into life. Celebrated British composer Sir Edward Elgar recorded with the London Symphony Orchestra at the grand opening of Abbey Road Studios in November of 1931. For movies to contain sound, audio was recorded optically by a photographic process onto the edge of 35mm film, adjacent to the picture. Incredibly, the soundtrack for Walt Disney's Fantasia, made in 1939, was recorded stereophonically on 8 such optical tracks. The Ampex company started making magnetic tape recorders in the 1940s. Tape, in countless incarnations and variations, became the standard recording and playback medium from the 1950s through to the turn of the century. The technology of magnetic tape opened up sound recording to a whole new generation of artists, and along with them, a new breed of professional technicians, engineers, and producers. But as the Grammy people will tell you, it's not just the technology, it's what you do with that technology that counts. And one can't really live without the other. The Beatles had a big influence on the way that recording technology developed. When they recorded Please Please Me, the whole album, amazingly, was recorded in a day. And as George Harrison famously quoted, the second album took even longer. In those days, they recorded on 2-track, quarter-inch tape. To make an overdub, or a superimposition, as Abbey Road called it, they would copy one tape to another while adding the new material. The rhythm track, or instruments, would usually be on track 1, and the vocals on track 2. These 2 tracks were then mixed down to mono for the final master. Somewhat hilariously, the 2-track tape was also released as a so-called stereo version, where the backing track was on the left and the vocals were on the right. Right up to Sgt. Pepper, stereo was just an afterthought, but Pepper was a big turning point. 4-track had arrived by then, along with the ability to overdub new material onto the same tape and remain in sync, a previously impossible feat. The complexity of the album involved huge engineering challenges, and Jeff Emerick was the recipient of a well-deserved Grammy for his work as engineer of the album. It's still hard to believe that it was recorded on 4-track. By the time I'd started at Abbey Road, we were recording the Beatles on 8-track. Then came 16-track, the format we used to record Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Then 24-track. Will it ever end, we asked. The answer was no, it probably wouldn't, because before long, digital technology came along and allowed us to have an unlimited number of tracks at our disposal.
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there because after that, the video just kind of rambles for a while. But so for those of you that don't, excuse me, for those of you that don't know, that was Alan Parsons who was talking, and he's got a series that he recorded, The Art and Science of Sound Recording, and you can buy this. You can buy a series of CDs, or perhaps at this point you can stream it from his website. But it's a whole course on audio. And this is sort of the history of audio part of that. Now, Alan Parsons is famous for at least 2 things. One, for his work as an engineer slash producer. He worked on Abbey Road for the Beatles, and he also was the engineer for Dark Side of the Moon. Classic album from Pink Floyd, and he was given a lot of credit, production credit from the band as well. He did a lot of innovative things on that album. Also, Alan Parsons had his own band where he released this sort of digital pop music. I forget, I want to say late 70s, early 80s, and was very popular. So this is a person who's been around, knows a lot of stuff. Okay, so what was the purpose of that video? So it was just to sort of dip your feet into the history of audio, and we'll talk a little bit more about the specifics of that. But, going from sort of Edison to the iPod, the invention of recorded audio on those little cylinders, going all the way up to today, which is when most audio is streamed online. But, of course, some people still use their iPods. You can still listen to a CD or a vinyl record. You can even still buy cassettes. So there's a lot of different ways to get your audio, but this was kind of the progression of how it went from the cylinder to the flat vinyl disc, which eventually transitioned to cassettes and then CDs, 8 tracks. There's probably some other formats I'm missing in there, but eventually it all went online, and that's where most of it is for us today. Okay, any questions or comments about the video? Okay, all right. So for more information, and like I said, we'll kind of review this and we'll go over this. For more information about the history of music, you can go to this Wikipedia page. It's linked to from the class website, and this is the history of sound recording. And you go through here, and they basically it's like it's a much more in-depth look at the history of audio than what Alan Parsons just talked about. And basically, this website does a really good job of breaking down the different audio, the segments, the decades of audio, into 4 sections: the acoustic, electric, magnetic, and digital area. Now, just to give you sort of a broad, way to think about these, the acoustic era from 1877 to 1925, that was when Edison and people of his ilk were recording audio via cylinders. And what would happen is someone would speak into basically a very primary sort of microphone. And what would happen is when they spoke, there would be like a little stylus that would take the vibrations of their sound. Because when you speak, your voice, the breath that is pushed out from your voice, what it does is it produces something called sound waves, right, that travel through the air. Now, if you take a really thin material, like imagine a very thin, super thin piece of plastic, right, and you stretch it really taut in front of somebody who's speaking. When they speak, every time they make a noise, that really taut material is going to vibrate back and forth based on what's called air pressure, right? Which is hitting it, hit and release, hit and release, hit and release, right? So what they did when they made the first sound recording devices was they had a very primitive, and this little plastic thing is called a diaphragm, right? They had a very primitive diaphragm. And what would happen is, as you spoke, this diaphragm would record the sound pressure and would transmit that into a little metal stylus. And a stylus was like a little pen, and what it would do is, as you spoke and as that diaphragm moved, it would move the stylus, and the stylus would inscribe or cut those sound vibrations into a metal cylinder, right? And that's how they recorded the audio. Now, to play it back, they sort of did the reverse process. Now they had a stylus that was inscribed with these sound waves, and then they put the stylus back on the cylinder, and they turned the cylinder on so it would turn around, and as it hit the stylus, it would vibrate another diaphragm, which was a speaker. And it worked in exactly the reverse way. Instead of recording sound, it would take the pre-recorded sound and it would push it out through this vibrating diaphragm of the speaker, and you would hear something. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the video, Alan Parsons was talking about Thomas Edison. He showed a picture of him, and you heard this really grainy kind of recording, and that's what it was. It was doing a terrible job, but it was recording, and it started the whole revolution. Now, this is called the acoustic era because acoustic means real-world acoustics, things that are happening and being heard in real time with air pressure and inside rooms and in the physical realm. That's the acoustic era, right? And if we scroll down here on Wikipedia, you can see this is the acoustic area, and they're showing somebody talking into a device that has a diaphragm in it, and it being written, and recorded in some sort of format, right? Some sort of physical format, right? Now that there were wax cylinders that were used, and then they tried other materials, metals and things. And as Alan Parsons said, these cylinders didn't last very long because they were kind of bulky. I mean, what are you going to do? Go down to the record store and pick up the latest wax cylinder, right, of your favorite artist, right? So eventually they figured out, instead of doing it on a cylinder, why not just press the cylinder flat and make it like a record, you know, a circle, and inscribe or cut the audio into that, and that's a much more portable format, right? As well as looking better, right? So you know, this was the audio era, or the acoustic era of audio, right? And then if we go down, we from 1925 to 1945, we get into what's called the electrical era. And so what happened was, remember, this was a physical process that was recording audio, right? But eventually they took electricity and pulled it into the process, and now electricity was powering the recordings. So in other words, now you could have a microphone that looked like this crazy old time cool microphone. That thing's probably worth a lot of money today, right? It's called a ring and spring microphone, right? And you can see that the diaphragm, which is inside that little round metal container in the center, is being suspended by these rings and springs, right? So that it can move, right? And what happens now, it's an electric mechanical process. What happens is the mechanical part of it is when you speak into the microphone, it still vibrates the diaphragm, but now those vibrations are transmitted into electricity. So there's a little wire connected to the diaphragm, and it listens for those little vibrations, and it turns them into electrical impulses and sends them down the wire to the recording device. So now we've taken this acoustical process, this vibration, we've turned it into an electrical process, and now electricity is powering everything. So we get into the electric era. We have electric microphones, we have electric amplifiers, we have electric speakers, right? Now the next wave that comes up was called the magnetic era. Now what's interesting about this, I was just reading this book earlier today, and they were talking about how massive pushes forward in technology have occurred because of warfare, right? You know, like the book I was reading was about video games, and it talked about how, you know, during World War II, the Allies really needed their radar systems to be a lot better so they could detect German subs and Allied airplane or Axis airplanes coming over, getting ready to bomb. And so, you know, the Americans poured a ton of money into research and got all the greatest scientists together, and they started working on really advanced radar systems. And so did the British, and they came up with this incredible radar, which helped them win the war. You know, they could find German subs and knock them out of commission. They could know when planes were coming. Interestingly, one of the things that I read, and this is very sad actually, but radar was brand new on December 7th of, I forget what year it was, 1940 or 42, when Pearl Harbor happened. But basically what happened was there were two guys that were using radar in Hawaii right before the attack. And they looked on their screen, and there was this huge blip moving towards, you know, Hawaii. And so they called in the military, and they said, there's a huge blip moving towards us, and we don't know what it is. And radar was so new that nobody had any, it didn't have any credence with anybody. So they go, oh, it's probably a flock of birds or something. They didn't realize it was 355 Japanese planes that were coming in to bomb the hell out of Pearl Harbor, right? So it's just interesting. But anyway, tying back to this, the reason that we have magnetic tape is because of the Germans and because of World War II. What happened was the Germans they needed really good audio recording equipment because they wanted to do things like record Hitler's speeches and be able to play them on the radio and be able to send those tapes all over the country and go to different countries and play, you know, his propaganda, right? So what they did was they invented this thing called magnetic tape. And what it was, it's this sort of plastic, you know, mylar type of tape. And what it's coated with is a bunch of magnetic particles, right? Just as an example, imagine you took like a piece of masking tape or something, and you just, let's take something black like pepper, right? You took a bunch of pepper and you just coated the masking tape with it. Well, all the particles would go and they would stick on the tape and they would be in a certain formation, right? Well, what they did was they took this tape, this magnetic tape, and they put it on this recorder like this one here. And of course, it's electrical now. You know, everything's being powered by electricity. And what happens is when somebody uses an electronic microphone and the diaphragm vibrates and sends the electrical signal down to the magnetic tape, what happens is that electricity is shot at the tape, and every time there's a pulse, every time there's a vibration, it disrupts the pattern of those magnetic particles that are on the tape. So what it does, it's almost like drawing with a pen and displacing these magnetic particles. It's recording the audio as a signal, based on the movement of the diaphragm via the electrical pulses. So then you end up with this magnetic tape, which has, the displaced magnetic particles that record the sound. Now, after you've recorded it, you rewind the tape, you play it again, and this time, instead of being played from the record head, which is recording, it's hitting the playback head, which is now sent using that magnetic pattern, and it's sending it through an electrical device, which is turning it back into audio and sending it out through speakers, which vibrate. So once again, it's just the reverse of the process. If you had to boil the process down, you would say something vibrates, something makes a recording of that, then you take the recording of that and you push it to make something vibrate to hear it, right? That's it. Anyway, so we got, when the Allies won World War II, they went into Germany and they went through their stuff and they took whatever they wanted, and they found these incredible magnetic tape machines, and they took them and they brought them back to America, and they launched the magnetic tape industry. So in the 50s and 60s, that's where you got things like the Beatles in Britain and the Beach Boys over here recording these amazing recordings on magnetic tape, which started out being just 2 tracks, which is called stereo, left and right. And then as the tape got thicker, they were able to put more tracks on it. So then it went to 4 tracks, which is what Sgt. Pepper was recorded on, then 8 tracks, 1624, and so on and so forth. Now, the last era that they talk about in this is the digital era, which is 1975 to the present. And what happened there was they went beyond magnetic tape to computers, right? If we use that same simple description of recording audio and we say something's vibrating, something's recording it, and then that's the recording, right? And the reverse process is something, you take that thing that was recorded and you use it to power something playing back. Well, instead of magnetic tape, now we're recording it on a magnetic disk inside of a computer. It's the same principle, like little floppy disks, we're just, they're basically just disks with magnetic particles over them that are also displaced by electrical signals, right? And that eventually became hard drives and all the things we use today. So nowadays we use software. We still use electromechanical microphones to record that vibration, which turns into electricity. Now it goes into your computer, and those little pulses and vibrations get recorded, on a hard drive as a signal. And then when you, press to play that track back, the reverse happens. It pushes that electricity out to your speakers or your headphones, and it moves the speaker, and now we hear what we just recorded. So now, obviously, I can't do the whole of audio history justice in just a few minutes. If you're more interested in this, take a look at this webpage, because it's got lots of interesting details. But that's it in a nutshell. That's kind of where we started and where we've ended up, right? Any questions or comments about any of that stuff? Okay. All right. Good news for you guys. A couple things. First of all, this class is not going to go the full 2 hours today because it's the first class. So, usually those are a little shorter. I'm only going to talk about one more thing, and then I'm going to talk about an assignment that I'm going to give to you guys, and so you guys can work on that. So the last thing I'm going to talk about before I talk about the assignment is this link right here, which is on my website. It's called musictheory.net, and I'll just go ahead and open that link. Now, you recall that we're going to check out this like keyboard to everybody, right? And that means you'll be able to use it as a way to input audio into your system, right? Now, because of that, you're going to learn some very basic music theory, very basic. You're not going to be tested on this. You're not going to be required to give a performance or anything, just so you can kind of know how, basic notes and chords relate to each other. Now, this has several benefits. It'll help you, when you're testing out audio in the class, but also, if you're interested in music, it'll give you the basic introduction to a keyboard, and maybe you can pursue that down the road and eventually make your own audio, your own scores for your videos, right? But anyway, I wanted to show you this website. It's completely free, musictheory.net. and it has all the information about music theory. So as we go ahead and we progress and we learn this stuff in the class, I'll send you some, I'll include some links on the website to this, and you can, if you don't quite understand something, you can go read about it, and they have little lessons and stuff. In fact, I'll show you one. I always have one up on my screen because I'm trying to get myself, oh, here it is. Okay, so I'm a musician, and I take voice lessons from a very talented teacher who teaches at Pima. And he introduced me to musictheory.net, and one of the things I'm working on right now, he wants me to learn the difference between 3 different types of chords, and these are called 7th chords. So there's something called a major 7th chord, there's something called a minor 7th chord, and there's something called a dominant 7th chord. Now this is musictheory.net. Let me turn my audio down so this doesn't be too obnoxious. But what you can do, one of the things you can do on this site is you can play chords, and then it tests you and to see which chord it is, right? So I'm going to press this button here. It's going to play a chord, and my job is to figure out which one of these 3 types of chords it is, right? And I have to listen to it a couple of different times. Okay, to me that sounds like a dominant 7th chord. Now, if I click this and it's green, it's right. If it's red, I'm a loser. Let's see. I got it. Okay, so it was a dominant 7th chord. And then it goes ahead and plays the next chord, right? Now, you guys aren't going to have to do anything like this. Nothing remotely as difficult as this. I'm just kind of showing you the usefulness of this site. It's a very cool site. Okay, anyway, let's go back to the class website here, if I can get my computer to play nice. Okay, so last thing here, there's some notes here. You don't have to look at those. These are just what I'm going to use to teach from in the class. But let's move on to the very last thing I told you we'd do today, which is I'm going to give you guys an assignment, and then I'm going to tell you how to do that, and I'm going to actually put you guys in teams, okay? Now,
No.
you guys are, do you have a question there, or are you just kind of moaning, Vladimir?
Just griping.
Oh, just griping. Okay. Now let me tell you some. I've apologized. My mouse has decided to be possessed by a demon right now, so I'm gonna switch to a different mouse with hopes that it will work like this. Now, actually, before I do this team thing, let me ask you guys a question, because this is fair in this kind of weird virtual environment. Are you guys, when you're working on film projects, you work in teams, correct? That's correct, right?
No, not
Usually.
always.
Not
I've
all.
only been in one film class, and it was video editing.
Okay.
Independent stuff.
Well, let me put.
Most of the time we work individually, although some people work on teams.
Okay.
It sort of depended on the depth of the project.
Okay. All right. Well, this is what I'm going to do. Since we're in this kind of weird COVID, who knows what the hell's happening kind of environment, on this assignment, I'm going to give you the option to either work by yourself, which will make Vladimir happy, or to work in small teams. Okay? So, for example, I know that at least one of you knows Cam because you yell Cam's name out every time, right? So, if somebody in here is friends with Cam and they want to work with her and form a team and work on the project together, you may do that. But if somebody like Vladimir wants to work on his own to do the project, he can do that. So I'll introduce the project, and then you guys decide whether you want to do it by yourself or as part of a small team. Okay? All right. So here's the first project, right? Create a 30-second video commercial for a product or service and it can be a real product or service, or it can be something you completely make up, right?
Yeah.
Develop sound effects and a score, which just means music, right, for the commercial. Record dialogue, which can be people talking, during the commercial, or a voiceover. And then, that's going to be your finished project. Now, the way it's going to work, the way all my projects work is they work in sections. So in other words, what I do is I say, the first thing that is due is going to be a written document that outlines what you're going to do for your first project. So that's what's going to be due at the next class is, what you do, you open up Microsoft Word or Open Office or whatever, and you write down your idea. It might say something like, two young women, we videotaped two young women walking into a store talking about um, the best car radio that they can buy. And a clerk comes up to them and starts, making a bunch of stupid jokes. And very soon they leave. And there's a guy outside on the sidewalk who's selling stereos out of the back of his truck, and they buy one of those, right? And it's going to be humorous. The guy in the store is going to say a bunch of funny, stupid things. Here's some examples of the dialogue. You don't have to write the whole thing, but you can give some examples. And the thing's going to be 30 seconds long. I'm going to film two of my friends, and we're going to have the audio from them. We're going to have a music, a lighthearted soundtrack, and we're going to have sound effects of like the doors opening and the street and stuff like that, right? So you would just create a little document. It can be very short. It can be one long paragraph. It talks about your idea, what you want to do. In that document, talk about whether you're going to do it by yourself or whether you're going to use a small team. Like I said, many of you guys take classes together and film, and you're working on other projects together. So, if you've got a little group you like to work with, form a team with them. And obviously all this stuff is easier in a team. Now, if you're just working solo by yourself and you can't leave your house, you can do something simple. You could use your iPhone and film your cat. And then you could do a voiceover where you're like, what do cats think about all day? Whatever you want to do, right? Entirely up to you. The focus of this obviously is going to be on the audio,
I've
We
often wondered the
we
same
want to show you
thing.
how to do good audio. Was there a question, Dylan? Or
I was just being silly. I said I often wondered the same thing. What
yeah.
cats think about all day.
What do cats do? Well, you've seen those things where they put a camera on a cat and leave it on all day.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's so interesting. But okay. So anyway, let me ask you guys, do you have questions about this assignment? Is this something you guys think you can handle?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Can't promise it'll turn out good.
that's okay. I know we're in a really weird space here with this COVID and how it's messing up all of our lives. And of course, I'm going to take that into consideration, But so for next class, why don't all of you guys write a short, description of your idea and put it in your Google Drive folder. Next class, I'll open up those Google Drive folders. We'll look at your ideas as a class. We'll give you some constructive criticism, some good feedback. And then after that, you can go ahead and either work by yourself or with a partner to do these projects, okay? All right, any other comments or questions about that? Okay, all right. So once again, that's the assignment for the next class, which will be next Monday. Next week, we're going to meet virtually again, both days, Monday and Wednesday, in this format. And then after that, we'll discuss that hybrid list and who's meeting on which days. Okay. Now that's pretty much it for me for today. Like I said, we're going to have a shorter class. There is an article down here under assignments. You don't have to take a look at the notes because I didn't even talk about those today. But you can either work with the team or by yourself on what I call the outline for your project. And then there's an article here, which I'd like you to take a look at some point before Monday. And then we'll talk about this. It's a very interesting article about Neil Young trying to save high quality audio. Okay, so last chance, any questions, comments for today?
I did have one question when it comes to when we start a hybrid. So I know how we certain people come Monday, some people come Wednesday. Say you have a class scheduled. Say you're supposed to come in on a Monday or Wednesday, and we can't make it. Is it possible still to like just get on the Zoom and then we'll still be like counted as attendance, or do we still have to be physically there for our specific day?
Well, Dee, you asked really good questions, and that's a really good question. So let's say that you're scheduled to come in on Wednesday, and it's the week where you're coming in physically and you have a flat tire. Yes, you can get on Zoom and just watch the class that way. Now, your questions, as usual, always bring up a couple of other things that I need to talk about. One really important thing talk about is if you are a Monday person, you're going to be a Monday person all semester. You can't switch to Wednesday. The reason that we're making these lists is because we actually have to give these lists to Pima. And if you're a Monday person, they're only going to let you into the school on Monday, on that Monday. That is the only day they'll let you in, and they'll let you go to that class. And this is so they can keep everybody healthy and trace, where people have been in case there's any type of COVID infections or anything. So, whatever we decide, whoever are the Monday people, whoever the Wednesday people, that's what you're going to be all semester, right? So that's the extra point I wanted to make. But did I answer your question about coming in?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Great. Well, guys, thank you so much. I hope that this is working for you. This format is working for you. I can't wait to meet you all in person the week of August 31st. And I think it's going to be a really fun class. People usually have a really good time making music, work on projects, and I think you guys will enjoy it. I hope you will. Okay, that's it for today. You guys are free to go. And if anybody wants to stick around and ask me questions, please feel free to do so.